Good Monday makers. I hope you're all doing well and are ready to check out some builds with me. This week we're going to be checking out a garden fence, a balloon sculpture, a sprinter van ladder, a gyroscope, and gold mining equipment. A lot of interesting builds this week, as you just saw, and we're going to jump right in and check them out. First up is this garden fence from Mark. This is really cool. You can see here they've got a backyard garden. Looks like it's ginormous, and they wanted to create a fence to keep the deer from getting in there and getting to the plants, their tomatoes, and all kinds of different things in there. So they made a garden fence structure using electrical tubing and maker pipe connectors. It looks like they have verticals going up every few feet, maybe, looks like, I would guess about 5 feet. They have verticals going up. In the corners, they use 90-degree connectors to basically make the rectangle shape. And then they reinforce the corners with 45-degree connectors. And then they have 180-degree connectors here to basically add the verticals and then break up this long span. Because if you have a build over 10 feet, then you're going to have to get multiple sticks of conduit because conduit comes in 10-foot lengths. So you'll have to use 180s or some other connector that allows you to basically add a vertical and then continue the run, which is what they did with 180-degree connectors. And then that's pretty much the main design of the structure going all the way around. And then you can see here that they added a gate to the frame. Basically just between these two verticals, they used T-connectors to kind of build a door frame. And then they built a gate using T-connectors. Just a simple design, just a simple 2D rectangle with T-connectors and a crossbar going across. And then it looks like they used the hinges that we've talked a lot about on the channel. I think maybe they actually used the ones from Billy. I don't know. We've talked about a few different hinge solutions. I always like to recommend, or up until recently, I would recommend the PVC aluminum snap-on hinges because they work with conduit really well. But we also did a video talking about some hinges and a gate latch from a community member named Billy who has a YouTube channel, Northwoods Engineered. And he 3D prints and sells a really great set of hinges and a gate latch. I'll link our video that we did where we kind of talked about his solution. I'll also link his video as well in the description, so you can check out his video and see his email address if you want to send him an email and pick up the hinges and latch from him. I think a few members of the community said they have and are really excited to use them in their builds, and maybe that's what that is. I can't really tell because it's not a close-up, but it looks pretty similar to those. But nonetheless, really awesome build and a great job with the project. Thanks so much for sharing this, Mark. We love seeing it. Next up is a balloon sculpture from Joe, and this is Patrick Starr on a conduit and maker pipe frame. As you can see here, basically, this just, I think this is like a cement paver you can get like Lowe's, Home Depot. And I'm not sure if he custom made these or not. I think he's done a post in the past because he does all kinds of balloon sculptures. And I think he did a post in a while back where he explained how to make those bases for conduit. Basically, this cement block down here is the base of the sculpture, and then the conduit vertical goes up. There's a T connector, basically adding this cross support, and another vertical piece of conduit going up with another T connector. And this is basically just made to hold up the balloon sculpture, and I would imagine the balloons attached to the conduit. I think that would make sense. I'm not 100% sure how exactly those are put together, but I think that would make sense, and this looks really awesome. They had, I think he said a local university was having like a kids' night or something, and they wanted to put together some decorations for SpongeBob, so super cool, and looks fantastic. Thanks so much, Joe, for sharing that. Really cool to see. Next up is a sprinter van ladder from Michael. This is really awesome. Very similar to other van ladders that we've seen in the past, where basically it's just two verticals with just simple rungs going across with T connectors, and it's just a nice, inexpensive way to make a ladder. And I don't see how it's mounted on the bottom, but I would imagine up here, it looks like it's mounted to a roof rack up there. Not entirely sure. We didn't really get a lot of details on that. But there's some different ways that you could do that with threaded pipe inserts and different things, probably some custom brackets. Of course, with builds like this, we want you guys to build within, the limits of conduit and make sure it's safe and everything, but looks fantastic. And as we've seen from other builders in the community, it's a perfectly fine material to use for builds as long as you have a good way to attach it and everything. But this looks great. Michael, thanks so much for sharing it. We love seeing it. Next up is a gyroscope, and this was shared by Charles, and I think some students in an after-school program put this together. And this is really cool. So basically, they were just experimenting with the science behind a gyroscope, and they put together a frame made of EMT conduit, as you can see here, that spins around and just kind of showcases the science behind a gyroscope with this spinning wheel. And basically, this framework is just 3/4 inch empty conduit. I think there's a base with T connectors and a 45-degree connector that goes up. And I think to allow this to hinge, it's basically just a piece of 1/2 inch empty conduit that slides into a 3/4 inch vertical down here. And that allows it to kind of rotate, the top to kind of rotate around. And then it looks like there's some really cool hacks up here for mounting the wheel and the hub and everything, which spins as this rotates around. You can also see, this would normally rotate. That's kind of the whole point of the gyroscope and the science. This would rotate side to side. And so I think he did the same thing again with 1/2 inch empty conduit there. So a lot of cool stuff in this project. And they had a great video. I'll link it down below. You can find it on this website here. But, students went through and were explaining the science and explaining the process of putting it together, which is really cool and just a really awesome project that they shared. And like I said, I'll link this down below if you want to check it out. But thanks so much, Charles, for sharing this. Really cool project. Last but not least is a gold mining rig, and this comes from Alan's Gold Mining. If you've been following MakerPipe for a couple years, you'll know that we did a customer interview with him a while back. I'll link that video down below. But basically, he does just gold mining as a hobby, and he shares his passion with other people. And he has a YouTube channel, Alan's Gold Mining, and he's working on a kind of plug-and-play trailer project called the Gold Rattler that is going to be available to buy, so anybody can basically go out and do some gold mining for themselves in a really easy kind of plug-and-play way using this trailer system. And basically, he just has this trailer, and then the EMT conduit frame mounts to it, and then he's got all kinds of really cool stuff mounted to this to basically turn this into, I forget what it's called off the top of my head now. But basically, here you can see it in action. He's got it mounted to the trailer. He takes his bucket and he dumps out, the muddy, like soil and everything. I guess not soil, but it's like the dirt and the rocks and everything where the gold potentially is. It dumps that in the top, and then it goes through this whole system that he put together with MakerPipe and Conduit. And of course, there's all kinds of stuff in there, electronics, a lot of moving pieces. But he's got a ton of great videos and does some really amazing stuff. And it's really cool just to see how passionate he is with gold mining and how passionate he is with sharing that with other people. It's really cool that MakerPipe and Conduit play a small part in that. So definitely check out his YouTube channel. Thanks everybody for post your builds. As always, we love seeing these. And if you guys want to check these out in more detail, they'll be linked down below. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next video.